Hi everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT and welcome to a new series that we're hoping you guys will all love. I'm going to call it the future of football. I don't know if that title is going to stay, but hopefully it will. The idea of these videos will be that we'll choose a nation or a region in world football. We'll look at the players that Football Manager predicts to be the future of that nation's football, of their national team. And not only that, we're then going to simulate 10 years in the future to see how well the national team does. Do these Wonderkids make it into the national team? And also, if they don't, who does take their place? Is there some hidden young players that we don't know about? So hopefully you'll enjoy it. But as this is a new series, we want to hear your opinions on it. So firstly, like it if you do enjoy, but also comment down below which nation or region you'd like to see next, the one with the most requests we will do in the next episode, but also let us know if there's a better way to structure it, if there's more that you'd like to see, something you'd like to see less of, and that kind of thing. Now, one quick thing to mention is you might notice my voice sounds a bit dodgier than usual. That's because I've actually got the dreaded virus. I've got COVID-19. It's horrible. I'm a little bit short of breath. I am recovering now, but if you hear a few more cuts in the video, probably just because I'm trying to breathe properly. So yeah, I apologize for that. So thank you for your support and your patience. But with that being said, let's get in to looking at the nation we have picked today, and that is of course Portugal. Portugal are yet to win a World Cup, but do have a European title under their belt in 2016. It was the famous game where, with Ronaldo not on the pitch, Portugal still managed to get a win, despite, for the whole of the competition, people calling them a one-man team. And then Portugal followed that up by winning the Nations League in 2019. It is of course a country with a bunch of talented footballers and a bunch of talented football teams, but they will be going into their new era fairly soon with the big man up top, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's probably getting close to being in his last tournament or so for Portugal, so we'd likely class him as on his way out, along with a bunch of other old men in Moutinho, Font and Pepe, people who have been around for years but look like they won't be around for too much longer in the Portuguese national team setup. Now, they have got a bunch of very good players in the national team setup that should be with them for a long time still, and there's certainly some real quality in there. You've got Ruben Diaz, João Felix, Bernardo Silva, Fernandes, Cancelo, Trincao, Jota Mendes, Pereira, Guerrero. I don't need to go through every single one, but you can see there's plenty of good, experienced players in that team that should hopefully be able to pick up the slack in the future once the key man in Cristiano Ronaldo has gone from the national team. But with the older players leaving, there is of course room for the new guard of Portuguese youngsters to come through, so we've collated some of our favourites from Football Manager to first check out before we do the simulation. So it's kind of like a two-part thing, these videos. Firstly, we'll showcase some really cool Wonderkids from the country, so that might give you some potential signing ideas for your save, but also then we get the simulation part, the experimental bit, to see how Portugal do. So here you can see I've picked out 11 Wonderkids in a shortlist that we're going to keep a close eye on in this simulation, all Portuguese of course, because of course that's what we've got to do here, and all under the age of 21 with Wonderkid potential. I haven't actually set them anywhere like high end on the range or anything like that. They're just whatever their potential range was set to, so hopefully some of these players have a chance of making it into the national team in the future, but who knows, we'll keep a track of these players in particular. I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, but we start off with Goncalo Inacio, who is a centre-back playing for Sporting, and as we saw at the start, he's already in that national team squad right from the start of the game. And also, I forgot to include him on the shortlist, but Nuno Mendes should definitely be on there, a Portuguese superstar who should go plenty far in his career, and he's got plenty of time to grow yet. Whilst he hasn't set the world alight since joining Wolves for £50 million, Fabio Silva is still a player with plenty of potential in Football Manager and both in real life, but Football Manager certainly rate the guy highly still. We then have Goncalo Ramos, another striker who plays for Benfica, 20 years old, a little bit further in his development, but as a model citizen up front, he could be someone we see a bit of in this simulation. One player I'm sure will turn up later in this simulation as doing some great things, as well as probably in real life too, is Francisco Conchacao. I've definitely butchered that. I've had a list while I'm trying to pronounce that. He's a Portuguese winger playing for Porto, the son of the manager, I believe, so he'll definitely get some game time over there. No favouritism at all. Nothing of the like, is there? Anyway, we've got Paulo Bernardo playing for Benfica. We can see a lot of these good young players are at some of the main clubs in Portugal, particularly Benfica, Sporting and Porto. I think literally everyone is, other than Fabio Silva, and I'm pretty sure he came from Porto, yeah, so they're all kind of from the same place. A real nice talent that I suggest you all try and sign in your Football Manager saves if you can is Goncalo Esteves, a Portuguese wing-back / right-back, fullback on the right side basically. He plays for Sporting's B team and has some great attributes from the off that can potentially make him a very good forward-thinking fullback. Andre Gomez is one of the best goalkeeping wonderkids of this year in terms of potential, ability, rating. So if he can develop, and it's very hard for goalkeepers to do so, because how do they break into the first team? But if he can develop, he will be a great player for this Portuguese national side going forward. This is an interesting one. Hugo Felix, who I believe is the brother of João Felix, the 17-year-old midfielder, has some of the highest potential of anyone in this list and can hopefully go pretty far. Playing for Benfica's under-23s, he's probably ready to take the step into that Benfica first team in the near future. Dario Esugo is a 16-year-old central midfielder, as is Rafael Luiz, who is also a central midfielder at the age of 16. He is a model citizen, however, so I think these two, playing in similar areas with similar attributes, will be competing for that spot in the Portuguese national team in the future. All being well, like I say, their potential will be somewhere within their range, but I haven't set it to the maximum or minimum. We also have Guilherme Santos here. He's a central midfielder playing for Sporting. Just to show you on the editor, if we go to here, you can see his potential ability rating is 155, which fits perfectly between the 140 and the 170 mark that this guy would have had, I assume, is his potential range. He could be a 130 to 160, but I think he's a 140 to 170 player. So he's in the middle range here. If he can reach that potential, we'll be seeing a decent player being made of this guy in the future, but who knows in Football Manager, sometimes particularly with AI, they'll never get a chance and they won't be able to reach that potential rating because they'll never get given those first team opportunities. But we can see there's a bunch of talents here, all in the Portuguese divisions, plenty of Wonderkids to be found in the Portuguese league. So if you take nothing else from this video, load the Portuguese divisions into your save, you'll get a lot of bargains, particularly from teams not here. For example, your lower level Portuguese teams in the first division and some in the second and even third divisions can produce a lot of good youngsters when the youth intakes come around. So always keep an eye on Portugal and their under 20s and all that good stuff. But there we go. There's some players we'll keep an eye on. How will Portugal do over the next 10 years without Cristiano Ronaldo? Can they reach the levels that they did with him, winning a European Championship and even a Nations League? Will it be trophyless, or will they go even further and reach a World Cup? Who knows? Let's simulate ahead and see what happens. Okay, we're here in 2030. Before we go and have a look at the Portuguese national team, I will just let you guys know I do have my own channel linked in the description where 99.99% of the time I don't have COVID and I don't have a COVID voice, but if you want to check out my channel down there, you'll see a Wolfsburg save and some occasional one-off rebuilds with another one on the way soon. Any support over there is greatly appreciated, particularly if you hit the subscribe button. A lot of you guys who came over really enjoyed it. The channel's growing very nicely, so thank you all for that. I really do appreciate it. But here we go. Portugal. How have they done? Let's find out. The simulation's just ended here, so I haven't actually checked it out myself. As you can see, we're still on the starting screen. I haven't gone any further than this. So we're going to find out together how well or how poorly Portugal have done. Okay, here we are on the Portuguese home screen, and straight away I can see world ranking. We are 19th, which I believe was a big decline because I think we were on 5th before that. Whether that was an accurate representation of where Portugal really should be or not, I'm not too sure. But 19th isn't very high at all. We've still got the big four clubs as the big clubs in Portugal, so nothing much has changed there. And the top players currently in the Portuguese national team are all the ones that you might expect. There's actually a couple names on there that I think will be interesting to look at as we go forward, but so far I'm not seeing anything too crazy in terms of like the Wonderkids we picked being some of the best players in the national team. And I checked some of their potential ability ratings. Some of them definitely could have been if they'd been given the opportunities, but it doesn't look like it's happened just yet. So first of all, let's look at competitions won, and then we'll check out how those Wonderkids got on. So competitions wise, nothing updated in the World Cup section, nothing in the Euro section. And then in the Nations League, we managed to finish third place one year, but I'm not sure how much the Portuguese fan base is going to care about third place in the Nations League, to be perfectly honest with you. So that is a bit disappointing. It looks like the under 21s, 20s teams did okay, and the under 19s did well as well in the 2028 season. So maybe the next generation of Portuguese players will be the one that wins them something, but it doesn't seem like it's been a great time for the Portuguese national team. First of all, before we check out our Wonderkids, let's see who has cracked the senior squad and if any of them have made it. So if we sort by age, let's do that quickly. Had I already done it? I had. Here we go. So we've got a bunch of regens, and then some of our players that we picked out have cracked that first team. First of all, we've got Goncalo Esteves, who is now playing for Napoli. He has been there for a few years after moving from Sporting and has been a consistent, very good right back actually, very good fullback, and I think he's a very nice option. Physically, bombing forward, nice to see at least one of our picks made the national team. On top of that, we've got Francisco Conchacao, who now plays for PSG on £500,000 a week. This guy is one of the superstars of world football, so it's nice to see that he's been doing it at a great level for a long while, one of PSG's key men, and he's still got plenty of room in his career to go. Fabio Silva is still at Wolves, and he has been doing very well over the last few years. Took him a bit of time to get into that first team and get firing consistently, but since 2025 he has been absolutely smashing it. He is now one of the better goal scorers in the Premier League currently, so nice to see Fabio Silva is doing well there. Nuno Mendes, who we discussed, is in that first team still and doing very well for himself. We've got Paulo Bernardo, who has made his way to Bayern Munich. He was one of the players we looked at, now a world-class midfielder. Great to see him doing so well from Benfica. Yeah, what a star he is. His attributes look amazing, to be perfectly honest with you guys. Goncalo Ignacio, we discussed earlier, as being a player that had a good future because he was already in the national team. He now has 63 caps for the national team and plays for Juventus, has gone through Manchester United, Milan, and now Juve, and he's been pretty inconsistent up to the point where he got to Juve, and now he is a starting player for them consistently and doing very well for himself. It's cool to see a couple of the names we'd expect to be sprinkled around still here. It looks like your Bruno Fernandez's, etc. have got too old and are no longer in the national team. They might have even retired by this point, but Jota, Neves, Diaz, Nunes are all here, as well as Rafael Leao, João Felix, Pedro Neto, amongst a few others. A player that we didn't really talk about before is Vitina. I'm just looking at him here. He's only got a 154 potential ability rating in this save at least. I've never seen him before, but he looks phenomenal. Physically and mentally, very, very good. This is a player that is maybe not super high in his potential rating, but the current ability he does have, he uses it perfectly. He is very nicely suited to being a striker, and it's clear to see why he is now a striker at Barcelona, having moved from Inter Milan, from Braga. Wow, this guy's been a goal scorer for a long, long time. Pretty weird to see that he only got that move around 25 years old, because it looks like he's been banging them in for a long while, and he's continued to do so since moving to the bigger club. So it's nice to see these players have done well, but there's some that we're missing, of course, some that we spoke about in our shortlist that haven't done so well. So let's have a look at them. We've had a look at most of these players, but here we go. Here's a couple that we haven't seen too much of since we looked at them earlier. Rafael Luiz has become a very nice midfielder, only 25 years old at this point, so still plenty of time to go, and I'm sure with 31 under 21 caps and those attributes, he's bound to crack that national team at some point. He's been very, very consistent for Benfica, and I'm sure he's only one move away, one transfer away from being a key part of that national team, so I'm sure he will be there in no time. This is a really interesting one. Hugo Felix was one of the players in the list that we looked at that actually had the highest potential range. He is at AC Viseu, who are a team who are apparently 11th in the Portuguese Premier Division at this time. He's very nicely balanced attribute-wise, looks like he should be very good. Why is he still here, and why has he never been capped for the Portuguese national team? Let's have a look. Benfica loaned him out a few times, and then he left on a free to join AC Viseu, and since then has been doing pretty well for them. What potential rating did he get? What potential ability rating did he get? Let's have a look. 165. So he's actually a 140 current ability player already, and he's got plenty of potential still to go. He could still crack that first team, but it just goes to show not being given a chance early on has led to a decline in this guy's career, and he's never been able to reach the same heights that I think it's his brother, so I won't fully say that João Felix is his brother, but who's to say he couldn't have reached that kind of level if he'd been given the opportunity from a young age by Benfica. The goalkeeper that we looked at earlier, André Gomes, very nicely balanced. Seems like he's never really been given the chance at Benfica. A few more starts in the most recent season, but I think at this point the ship might have sailed for André Gomes to be a top tier keeper. Again, let's have a look at his potential rating. If we have a look here, 169, so very high on his potential range, actually towards a higher end of it. But he never got a chance. He never got a chance to get to that rating. Although 130 current ability is not bad at all for a player of his age, you could definitely still get towards some of that potential range. And finally, we finish off with Guilherme Santos, who is at Farenese in the Portuguese Premier Division again, leaving for £450,000. Very disappointing from him in midfield. But there you go, guys. That is Future of Football episode on Portugal. Let me know what you thought of these videos. Is there a way you'd like me to better lay it out? Should I stop these completely, do a different series? Let us know. But also, if you want to see more of them, suggest which nation you'd like to see next. Portugal was an easy one to pick because they had plenty of Wonderkids already, but we happily check out a nation, or if there's not enough Wonderkids, I'm sure we could do a region as a whole, say Scandinavia, if we need to. But yeah, do let us know what you think. Thank you guys for listening with my horrible COVID voice, but like the video if you did enjoy, subscribe for more, and feel free to check out my content, linked in the description if you want to. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.